Welcome back to That's Clever. I'm Angela Martinez. This artist from St. Paul, Minnesota stakes her claim to create an accessory that would brighten up any garden.
Hi, my name is Geisen, and I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. Today I'm going to combine two of my passions, gardening and art. I'm going to make this beautiful hand-wrought decorative plant stake. I'm going to go in my studio and get started now. Welcome to my studio. This is where the magic happens. The first thing I have to do is cut some copper refrigerator tubing. Before I can bend it to the shape I need to straighten it out. I've got to curve it in half and get the center loop. And then I make the side loops. And usually I never work from a form. I'm totally improv. And to make sure that bottom is even, I need to cut off a little of the extra. I'm happy with the shape, but it needs some stability. So the next thing I have to do is start soldering it. I'm using some really nice bench blocks just to keep the two pieces together. I use flux. Flux helps the solder to flow and adhere to the copper. Now that I've finished soldering the bottom, the next step is to add side pieces. I've already cut the two side pieces and bent them so they have a nice, gentle curve. I want to have lots of spaces to be able to put the glass stones in. Now what I have to do is solder the backside. Now that I'm done soldering, I have to make hanging loops for the dangles. What I use is bare electrical wire, which I get at a hardware store. I'm going to use my marker so that I make sure that I put it in the center, because what I'm going to be doing is soldering it to keep it in place. Before I solder it, I need to cut off the extra ends. I need to put a hanging loop here for the dangle that's going to go here, and this isn't very stable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wire wrap here to keep it rigid and then solder that on the back also. Wrong pliers, too small. Need the big hunkers. I have finished with the frame. The next thing I need to do is foil some glass stones. I'm going to be using 3 different size stones, and what I use is determined by the openings on the plant stake. There, I've got my placement. And now what I have to do is start foiling. What this is copper foil with an adhesive back. Now that I've got them all foiled, I have to solder them to the plant stake. I do this one at a time. I'm all done soldering all the stones on. What I have to do now is patina it. Patina is a solution for solder that turns it copper, and the solder joints won't be as noticeable. The patina is finished. Everything is the same color. Now it's time to make the polymer clay dangle bead. I'm going to use some of my transparent clay, and the first thing I need to do is condition it. What I do now is I have to add ink. I'm using a nice sort of turquoise color blue. I don't need a lot, just a few drops. This is messy, but I love it. Now that I've got it blended the way I want it, I need to roll it out into a snake. I'm going to make a spiral cane so that I get a very pleasing pattern. I've got my turquoise snake, so now what I need to do is I need to make snakes out of the other 2 colors I'm going to put in here. One is the nice pretty purple, and one is my glow-in-the-dark neon. And I start making the spiral cane by just twisting them together. Because they're nice and soft, they're going to stick to each other. What I need to do now is make the big dangle bead. It's gonna take a lot of clay, so what I'm gonna do is use the blue, and I'm gonna add bits and pieces of this into it. I want a little bit more pop, so I'm gonna put in some purple. Ooh, that looks pretty. It's a little too much for me to wear, but the garden will wear it really well. Now I need to make a hanging hook. I finished embedding my copper hanging loop. Now it's ready to bake. I'm going to bake it on a nest of fiber film. This will keep it from distorting and won't leave any marks. I bake it at 212 degrees for 40 minutes. The bead has been baked. I also sanded it and buffed it, so now it's nice and shiny. I also went ahead and made some more beads to put on the piece because it wasn't glitzy enough. To attach the beads, I'm just going to use more copper wire. And now my garden stake is ready to plant.